All right, fire away.
Someone grab it.
Offensively, looking back at the last game, you guys have been obviously searching for a game like that to just be clicking and get over 500 yards of offense. And just it'd been a long time coming. How nice did it feel? And what did you see when you went back and looked at the table? What you guys were able to do?
Yeah. Well, we're looking for wins. Yes, I think I'll say it again. Every offensive coordinator would love to have the max yards, max points, everything that you can get offensively. So it was good to see the numbers put up there. Certainly not what we're necessarily planning for each and every week, that we have to hit a certain number. We want to play efficient. We want to play well. We like to get more guys involved. We did that. There was more contributions from other players, which was good. We were able to get a little bit of a rhythm in the pass game. And we were efficient running the ball again, which, when it comes down to it, we threw the ball better, but we still ran the ball effectively. And that's still the key ingredient. So how do we keep doing that? And if we can balance it, we look better. We operate better. We're able to move the ball in a variety of ways down the field, which makes it more difficult to defend. And hopefully we can continue that. But that all started, that's a work in progress. And like I told the team in here, things don't always happen. You wish they happened on day one of fall camp. And it's like players. We got guys emerging right now that are getting better at the game of football and better in our systems. We all wish we had it, 3 months ago, but this is where we have it right now. These guys are getting better, which is the number one factor for us. As long as we're improving, then we're doing the things that we talked about at the beginning of the year, and that was going to be our focus. So that showed up in the last game offensively. Defense played well. Special teams still did some good things. Thought we could left a few yards out there on special teams that we could have gotten more out of in our coverage units and return units. And so we got to try to find a way to win that battle again.
Every team wants to finish strong. The fourth quarter is always important, and I know you've talked about that a lot this season. But last season, those numbers were get away. You were outscored in the fourth quarter, but so far this year, you guys have been outscoring the other teams by quite a bit in the fourth quarter. What has been the difference, and what have you been able to do, whether it was in August or whenever, to enable this to happen?
Well, that all started. This started a long time ago. It's always been. For every coach, I think everybody wants to win the fourth quarter. That's why everybody puts their hands up, says fourth quarter. We can all come together. It's really if guys buy into it. That's the most important thing. I think that's the key ingredient. The guys have bought into it. We finish practice that way. We think about it. We go into games. We think about the fourth quarter. We talk about the fourth quarter. I don't know if it's any special thing that we've done other than guys believe in it. And they actually want to go out there and do that. It's amazing when that happens. And we focused on it, so I think we've emphasized it well. But we did last year too. It's not like last year we didn't win the fourth quarter battle and now we're sitting there like, we should have emphasized the fourth quarter. We've done that. I've always done that. And I've always been a part of staffs that have done that. It's just, whether your team is going to buy into that. And that's really important to them. If it is, then they have a chance to go out there and put themselves in a position to win the fourth quarter. But that's to this point. We have a lot of football left. We're going to continue to keep doing that. I have no idea. We'll keep emphasizing it. Hopefully we keep doing it.
I feel like this year, especially over the last couple of weeks, you yourself, Zach Hill, some of the players have talked about, kind of putting egos aside, being selfless, and I feel like you use the word patient a lot this year. How important are all those components to what was kind of a breakthrough performance, I guess, on offense against Utah State?
Yeah. I don't understand that. What are you comparing it to? We had egos before, I guess.
I don't know if there were egos before, but I just feel like just kind of like with like the rotation at quarterback, maybe putting any ego aside from what's traditional and doing whatever it takes to maybe win. And again, I just feel like you use the word patience a lot this year too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I think absolutely in that. As you put the question that way, we have a lot of guys on this team that rotate in and out. We have a lot of guys that are playing better, that were backups, that are contributing, and especially at the quarterback position. Again, we've gone back and we've had the conversation about is it a 2-quarterback system? It's really just an offense is what it is. And we happen to have 2 quarterbacks that play in that offense, and they have their packages and do different things.
I feel like it might go beyond even the quarterback. Even Jake Rose said something about it after the game.
Yeah.
Just doing whatever it takes.
Well, that's really how it should be. I don't think that's – let me say this. These guys, the players are doing that. I wouldn't say that's a philosophy that's changed. I've never really known any other way. I mean, you do what you have to do. You got to be selfless. You got to be humble. You got to be hungry. I don't think that's changed, ever since I got into coaching. I've learned it that way. I believe in it. I think the players, it still goes back to that. It's what Dave's asking about. What do they believe in? And if your role is to block, a power play, and your role is to catch touchdowns, then that's how we operate, and that's what we're doing this week. And you got to be good with that. So you may get no glory, but you're doing a lot for the team. I think that to me is the mindset. Every week we're a little bit different on defense, offense, special teams. Somebody's going to have probably a little bit more than someone else, at least that we notice. And that's all part of just being a selfless player and being part of a team. So it goes back to that. Are we about ourselves? Are we about the team? And I think, it's natural. It's human nature. When things are going bad, all right, everybody kind of goes into self-preservation mode, and it's all about them. And that's exactly the human nature that we have to avoid is, all right, when things get tough, we got to fight for each other. We got to do our job. We got to be selfless in that situation. And I think our team has displayed that. And I think the coaches have too. They sit, you guys don't get to see it, they all sit in that room, they come up with ideas, and it might be this guy's idea, this guy's idea. It doesn't matter as long as it's the best idea. We're going to use it, and it fits our personnel, and this is what we can do. So I think to answer maybe what they were saying, our team is working better together. And it takes a little bit of time, so the patience part of it, like I said, on day one of fall camp, we all want it right now. We want everybody just to be locked in, know everything, play full speed, make no mistakes, never put themselves in a bad position on defense, always running hard on special teams and catch every ball on offense. You want that to happen, and everybody's just perfect. And that's just not the case, and that's not our team. So we got to be, which is not our nature, to be patient sometimes. And you go win a game by 2 points, you win a game by 20 points. It really doesn't matter. You win the game, and it takes a little bit of time, but you got to allow these guys to develop a little bit.
Everybody seems to be marveling over the 2-quarterback thing and how you're making it work, but you've been doing it since week 1. How has it evolved since week 1 to what it is now?
Yeah, I think we're learning as we go. Obviously, you can build off of what you've done. That's probably the biggest difference. You try to go back, you self-scout yourself, you look at it, and, all right, we did these things. What's something we can do off of it? Or we did these things and they weren't very good, don't do it again. So I think it's just it's an evolution every week of, how we're going to utilize our personnel. And that includes the quarterbacks, that includes everybody on the offensive side, that includes our defense, special teams. We're moving guys around. It's still evolving. But I think it goes back to the way we look at ourselves too and try to figure out, just like Nevada's doing now, they had a bye week. They've watched everything probably twice. They've been in there grinding on film, and we're trying to look at that too and go, well, what are they seeing? What do we think that they're going to try to do to come out and stop this? Well, maybe we have an answer for it. Maybe we don't do it this week. We've done it for 3 weeks, and you know what? It's kind of run its course, and it's on to something new at this point. So as far as how we utilize those guys, I think that's a week-to-week thing. It's just really about what we're doing today, kind of that creativity. What's the theme? What's the plan? What does Nevada do that's going to give us problems? And watching these guys a lot. They're really good. I don't think anything about Nevada. If you want to talk about their record, I don't think that has anything to do with this team. I really don't. So we're going to look at what they're doing, and we're going to try to figure out the best way to attack it and utilize our personnel. And then how can those guys handle it? There's some things we can come up with great ideas, but they might look at you and be like, there's no way I can do that. Or we're sitting there trying to figure out how we're going to practice it and get enough reps on it. So we got to build off of what we've done.
When you look at Nevada, what are their strengths and what has been the difference for them in the last 3 weeks? Because they've had a win over Hawaii and 2 close losses to Air Force and Colorado State.
Well, their strengths, I think on the offensive side, their quarterback, number 6, has played really well. I think he's a big difference maker. Their receivers, they got a couple big guys on the edges that go up and make plays. I think a wide receiver, they're good all around. And, they've been putting points on the board and throwing the ball well. I think a lot of that has to do with their quarterback, number 1. Defensively, they're all over the place. They're a 3-3 stack, which they give you a lot of different looks up front. They got safeties and DBs all over the place. It looks like you got 14 guys on the field. When you watch the film, it's just it's difficult to try to figure out where your windows are and what you can do and how you're going to run it. I think they're playing better on the defensive side. And then special teams, I don't know a whole lot about special teams at this point. I've got to go look at that and study those guys a little bit more. But, for us, it really comes down to on special teams, what are we doing in the kick game? How are we covering? What's our return game? Are we actually blocking people or not? It really comes down to some simple things like that. So I think this team is playing well offensively and defensively. And, probably the biggest difference has been their offense has been moving the ball and throwing it really well.
We talked a lot this year about needing guys to step up as playmakers on offense, and you see the other night right from the start, AJ on the first play, and Octavius knocks a guy to the ground to get himself open for a touchdown. Monster almost had two long catches. How did all that sort of happen all of a sudden in one game? And did you see that coming during the week, or how did you kind of get that breakout performance out of that group?
Yeah, well, we've tried to do that. I don't think that we tried as much as we did this last game. And to answer your question, yes, we felt like that was going to happen. We hoped. And we did feel like at the end of the week it was going to happen. The play we opened up with was something that we felt strongly about and thought it was going to be, a good starter, kind of get Brett going a little bit, and was going to be there. And it was. So right then and there, right at the beginning of the game, you have confidence. Those guys hit it. They hit it the exact same way in practice, the exact same look. So, right out of the gate, it's kind of like, bang, we've already done this. And we got into a rhythm, and we were able to move the ball. And all those guys that stepped up, they had been doing it. Octavius has been doing that. When his release, he's really strong. For a young guy, he's really strong. And he put his hand on the shoulder pad of the DB and just knocked him down. Just flat out beat him. Just physically beat him, and they made a great catch. Brett fired one a little bit high, and Octavius went up and grabbed it, and he was in. CT making plays for us. Like you mentioned, AJ. Said, obviously, Jake Rowe, again, having another big night. And there was probably some opportunities that we missed in there that other guys could have touched the ball. We had chances for that. Sean Monster coming up with a big third down catch towards the end of the game. And, those are things you hope. I think when we spread the ball out, it helps us. Obviously I think it makes us more difficult to defend. But we saw it throughout the week, and we've been trying to get there. I think we practiced better last week. I think our focus was better last week. I think we kind of understood that we needed to throw the ball more effectively. And guys, felt that at practice, and they went out there and executed it. Our guys are smart. They get it. We've been running the ball, which we're going to keep running the ball. That doesn't change. But at some point, they're sitting there like, we need to throw it too, which means we can call pass plays, but we got to be able to go out there and execute them. And so that week in practice, I thought guys practiced extremely hard, on the edges and made those plays, and then it showed up in the game. That's why we had confidence. Quarterbacks had confidence. They made those plays.
When it comes to Jake Rowe, he seemed like he just had a knack for making those like 3rd and 4 catches this year, but obviously he can stretch the field a little bit at times this year. So just to see the senior season he's having, and then also, what do you think about his arm brace? I feel like it gets bigger each game almost. He's got like some padding under there now. And then Sam McCaskill recently tweeted out Rowe for Heisman. So can you get behind that too?
Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Sam, for that. Well, let me say this: Jake's always been a very good football player, and obviously his knowledge. He's healthier, I should say. Everybody's a little bit banged up this time of year. But he did a great job. He had some I thought in the game, the 2 touchdown catches he had, if you watch them, it was not exactly how it was drawn up. Now the route was, but the way he had to get there, the first one, the safety came down and played a little bit lower than we had practiced. So he adjusted his route a little bit, and then he took it a couple steps further for the timing of it, because he knew Brett, if he went too fast, he's going to be off, and we were a little bit close on the sideline there. So he sped it up, then he deepened it up a little bit, and then made his break, made a great catch. And then the other one that Montel threw him, inside releases, outside releases on the safety jumps outside, inside releases the safety, and then continues to not lose any speed. And Montel fires a rope to him, and he's in the end zone. So I think it's a combination. He's got some savvy. He's always had that, his experience. He's been practicing well. He's doing a great job of keeping himself as fresh as he can, getting into the game, and I think that's showing up. As far as the brace, I don't know. Yeah, I think you're right. I think every week it's gotten bigger, and I don't know. He would tell you this, that his arms are getting bigger, so, all right, from lifting. He's been in there doing a lot of curls. But he's, the thing about Rowe, too, you talked about, selflessness and all that, and he's the guy that mentioned that. Well, he's the ultimate team guy, and he knows he's going to get the ball, in the game plan. We're going to find ways to try to get it to him. But he's also going to be in there in protections. He's also going to be in there in the run game. He's going to be in there doing all these things that nobody pays attention to until he catches the ball. He's doing so much more than just catching balls out there, and so whatever each week, he's in there and he's in the game plan, and he'll throw his body around, and he gets a few touchdown catches hopefully, and he gets paid for that, with those. And that's the fun part about kind of being a player like him is he's going to go out there and do whatever it takes.
You guys, when you played here, Nevada was a big rival, and talk about rivalries here, and because of the way the Mountain West is structured, some of those traditional rivals you guys had are on the other side. You don't see them all the time. And,
yeah.
What's it like for you guys? I mean, like, do you have a rival, and how do you approach it? Because I know when you played here, you had Idaho, you had Nevada, and things like that, but don't really have that anymore here.
Yeah, it's that's a good question. Nevada's always been a big game. It still is. I think a lot of us, and there's guys in this room that have never played against Nevada. They know about them because we talk about Nevada. So they know about Nevada. They've watched them. They've paid attention to them. Obviously, they're studying them this week and focused on that team. But they don't know it like we know it. How we played them every year and the kind of games we've been in and what it's like to play in their stadium, what it's like when they come here, and just some of those, 07, I don't know what it was, 67, 65, whatever the game was, right? Yeah, whatever it was. It was Colin Kaepernick's coming out game and all that. And those guys don't know all those things. And the one thing they do know is when we talked about Nevada beginning of the year, as we looked at our schedule, they could feel that was a game on the schedule that is important to us. They can feel it this week on Sunday when we came in here and we put to bed the last game, Utah State, and we started talking about Nevada. They could feel that, and they need to be ready to go play. I mean, this is so as far as rivalry goes, I think you have to play every single year. I think everybody would say that. Well, you have to play them every year. They got to be a team that you're always you see year in and year out. But I still feel like in my mind, Boise State, Nevada, that's a big game. That's a rivalry game. That's a game that everybody looks forward to. That's a game you want to play in. That's a game that over the years has been really good, and so we get a chance to play them again, and these guys are looking forward to it, and they'll be ready to go. They'll understand a whole lot better. All they got to do is pop on the tape. Watch these guys play. Watch Nevada go out there and get after it. Watch those guys put up points. Watch them get after it on defense. They'll have a whole lot better understanding of what Nevada is all about and how we have to go and prepare ourselves to go play, our best football at this point.
Kind of answered part of my question there, but the record says they're 1-7, and you're coming off 4 wins in a row, and what most people would say is your biggest game of the season at Colorado State in 2 weeks. How do you? These are college kids and stuff. How do you kind of keep them to not have any kind of letdown or look past this game with obviously maybe a season-defining game on tap in 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and also playing at 5 o'clock at home, rare earlier time. What do you think about that?
Yeah, fired up for the 5 o'clock game. You have a big recruiting weekend coming up, and to have it at 5 o'clock, that's huge. And I know for our fans that's huge. So our guys are looking forward to that. We've had, I think the last 3 games have all been late. So we're looking forward to a little bit earlier game. And, as far as just our mindset, I think it's simple. Just watch football. I think you're crazy. If you start, and I get it, you can't control everything. People are going to say exactly what you asked me. Well, focus on the game ahead. Focus on this game. It's more important and all that. All right, well, just watch football each and every week. This team's whatever wins, and this team's the favorite, and all of a sudden they lose. You can't figure it out in 3.5 hours. If you're not ready, you're not going to figure it out in 3.5 hours. That's why I think one of the most remarkable games, and I haven't even seen it but heard about it, was Ohio State-Penn State. I think everybody turned that game off, and Ohio State comes back and wins it. I got to watch the game to see how they did it. That to me, like that's the sign of a focused team. Yes, you didn't play well early on, but you were ready. They were ready. They didn't panic, so they must have prepared themselves for whatever was going to happen in that game to still find a way to win. If you start looking ahead, if we start thinking about other games or teams start thinking about other games, you will get beat. That I can guarantee you. And you can't make that up on a Saturday at 5:30 when you realize, oh crap, we're not really that prepared. Well, let's really get ourselves excited right now and let's really dial into what we have to do to win this game. It doesn't happen. Because then you're in the fourth quarter and all of a sudden, you're probably too far behind. It just doesn't work that way. I hope our guys understand that. We talk about that more than anything. Our focus. We're really concentrating on Sunday when it's Sunday and Monday and just day by day because, our guys, we talk about 5 minutes of discipline. I mean, that's the reality in this room right here. Let's just have 5 minutes of discipline at a time, let alone think about 2 weeks ahead. We can't do that. We're just not able to do those things. We're concentrated on 5 minutes of discipline at a time. And if we can do that, and we can do it through every 5 minutes in practice. You guys have seen the practice plans every 5 minutes, periods. If we can just do that for 20 periods a day, then we give ourselves a chance. If we start thinking about some other things, we're a really bad football team when we do that.
I was wondering if you could reflect on the progress your offensive line has made since week 1, and also kind of a lighthearted question here, but being that it is Halloween tomorrow, favorite Halloween candy and why?
Okay. The O-line first, right?
Yep.
That's easier. I think after the bye week, the bye week came at a good time. We were able to go back, reevaluate what we were doing, where we are, what our, the whole nine. All right, and you start at the most important two positions, O-line and D-line, and you look at that. All right, those guys, kind of as the O-line and D-line go, we go. And so with the offensive line, we looked at it. What were we doing in protection? What were we doing in the run game? What were we not doing, more importantly? And we just started to emphasize certain things with them. They bought into it. I think they could see the importance of it. When you went and had a chance to really watch the film and self-evaluate each guy, they had a chance to do that. They could realize, what we're not doing. And from that point, I think every single week they've just had that same mindset. Like, let's go back after the game through that process again and ask yourself a real simple question. What did you learn? Write it down, all right? And whatever that is, we're going to emphasize it that week. The best thing we've done is we played fast and we played physical. Those two things. And when we do that, we can be pretty good up front. When we don't do that, we look very bad. So, really simple. We have to play fast. We have to play physical. We have to keep doing that. If that changes, then we're not going to have the same results that we've had.